Hello, I'm SoloXO, and today I want to talk about villager trading, and more specifically about the villager trading nerfs that are coming to Minecraft. I'm not happy with them, but that's okay. With that said, I don't want this video to be a ranty blah blah blah, I hate Mojang, I hate everything about change and blah 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 kind of video. I believe I have some valid opinions, and it's just that, my opinion on the changes and how they affect the way that I play the game. Now, Minecraft is a sandbox game, so that means we all can play it any way that we want. It's an open world, there's some game mechanics, and we can choose to use them or not use them, or use them in different ways and manipulate the game within reason, right? So the way I play the game might not be the way that you play the game. So we might have differing opinions on how the game should be played. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So I just want to present my opinions in a hopefully constructive way. And then I hope to hear your opinions down in the comments. So first I want to start off with telling you why I enjoy villager trading the way it is now. The main reason is that I like pickaxes. I like to have a whole lot of pickaxes for when I have to work on big projects, like digging out these 3 slime chunks to make a slime farm, or digging out this nether perimeter by hand on a server that does not allow TNT dupers. And that brings me to my first point. OP is not bad. In my opinion, OP is fun. OP farms are good, they're fun to make, they're fun to use, and they're just cool. Yeah. But there definitely needs to be some kind of balance when it comes to OP farms, such as effort versus reward. So with that said, I would argue that villager trading is not the biggest unbalanced OP there is. So take this Enderman farm for instance. It took me probably less than an hour to build. That's getting down to Y0 in the void. The amount of materials that I used that was needed to build it, not at all. Nothing. Very, won't even fill up your inventory halfway. And how powerful is the farm? Well, I can get XP non-stop, where the villager farm is constantly at mob cap, constantly spawning things in as soon as you kill it. So theoretically, I can get a constant flow of XP without a problem. And if I'm not an idiot, I won't be losing health by getting too close to the Enderman. And let's check out some other OP farms. This scare-based iron farm took me about a day to build. That's including digging out this giant hole to put it in so I wouldn't have to look at it above ground. And the reward I get for that is infinite iron that passively collects even when I'm not in the area because I put it in the spawn chunks. This Hoglin farm took me about, let's say, an hour to build. Very minimal resources to take to build it, and the reward I get for that is infinite pork chops and infinite leather. I AFK'd this farm one time, and these chests were completely full, overflowing, so I never have to worry about food in this world ever again. If I need more leather, then I can always AFK it more and get all the leather that I want. So this combination here is arguably the second most, I would say, OP farm in the entire game. It's a gold farm and a bartering farm. This took me maybe a day to build, maybe a day and a half if you include digging up the magma blocks by hand. But for the reward for that, I can get unlimited gold, and I can craft that gold into ingots and feed it to these piglins automatically. And in reward for that is getting all of these resources. You know, and it keeps going, as well as the enchantment of soul speed. So this is done just by AFKing. I can AFK for the gold. Then I have to put a little bit of effort in crafting the gold nuggets and putting them in this chest. And then it's more AFKing. So that's a lot of resources with very minimal effort. So let's take a look at my villager trading halls. In this structure, I have a breeder, a zombie converter, villagers for such as things as armor and tools and weapons, as well as for some resources like redstone and glowstone and lapis. I also have every book in the game that can be traded by librarians. I also have this bamboo farm that automatically collects bamboo for me and puts it in these shulkers. When I first built this trading hall, I wanted to have everything I needed for trading located in the end void all in one place so that I could get the emeralds and trade and get the XP all in one place. What I quickly found out is that this is useless. The effort that it takes to trade with Fletchers for sticks from mid to late game is completely inefficient and not needed at all. Because you have to take the sticks, take the bamboo, 2 stacks of bamboo crafts into 1 stack of sticks, then you have to come over here to the Fletchers and trade a good amount of sticks, oftentimes a half a stack, for 1 emerald. It's very inefficient. So mid to late game, I usually like to take iron from my infinite iron farm, come over here and trade 1 iron ingot after curing for 1 emerald. And it's way more efficient to do that. So how much effort did I put into building this farm? Well, let's not include the bamboo farm and not include the Enderman farm and only consider the villagers. We will also not include the effort and time that it took to move 2 villagers and a zombie over the void and drop them into this space station, and we'll only consider what it took to breed up the villagers, to cycle through their trades, convert them and heal them, and then move them into their pods where the trading is done. So everyone hates moving villagers. It's annoying. No one likes it. It's one of the biggest complaints about villagers ever. You hear it every time you see villagers in a video. People are like, I hate villagers. But I found if you actually use minecarts, rails, and especially activation rails, working with villagers is actually pretty easy. If you become proficient on how villagers actually move and how to use minecarts with them, you can place a villager anywhere in the world on any block in the world without much problem. Obviously you got to build the rail, so it does take effort, but it's not a problem. So moving the villagers was not that long. It was what I did in between the actual curing and not curing. So the longest things are actually just waiting for the villagers to breed and converting them, waiting the time for them to cure, and obviously cycling through the trades. So it took me a few days. Yes, a few days to get the trades I wanted, to convert them and get them into the pods ready for trading. So that effort is more effort than all the farms that I showed you already. And my reward for that effort is books. And a lot of them. And I think that's okay, because building something like this I think is more late game rather than early game. And yes, I agree, in early game you can take sticks and trade them for top tier enchantments rather easily. And I agree, that could be fixed, but I don't think removing top tier enchantments from librarian trades completely is necessarily the right step to do that with. So going back to how annoying working with villagers is and how no one enjoys doing it, it's not something I want to do over and over again in my world. By the time I get to late game, I like to focus on building. So in my single player world, I'm building up a medieval town that's going to take a long time to complete. It's going to fill up this entire valley with a village, and there's going to be a giant castle on top of this hill, as well as an agricultural district over in that section. So the more time that I have to spend worrying about my tools and gathering materials, the less time I can spend doing what I really enjoy in Minecraft, which is building kingdoms and towns and builds and telling stories and playing with lore and all of the fun stuff that I consider Minecraft to be. If the trading changes to the way it is in the snapshot right now, how will gameplay actually change? To me, to be honest, not too much. Will it get rid of trading halls? No, it won't. We will now build 4 trading halls, woohoo, instead of just 1. There'll be smaller trading halls. We'll build them in one in each of the biomes to get the different trades, and that's about it. One of the things Mojang has said is they want to make trading more skill-based and less random-based, emphasizing exploration is one of the ways to get some of the higher enchants. My argument is that very unfortunately, most of the exploration of the game is very early game. They did add ancient cities with wardens and the enchant of Swift Sneak, which I would argue is late game. But all the other exploration is usually done before the dragon fight. Even end raiding is rather simple once you have the wings, because we know where the chests are. We can fly in, steal the loot, and fly out without ever having to encounter a bad guy at all. Which is fine. It is what it is. It's part of the game. the exploration of the game is very early game exploration. So I want to address the random aspect of enchanting and the suggestion of enchanting tables as a way to get higher enchantments in the game. So how it is now in the snapshot, I can go and trade for efficiency 3 books and combine them and get efficiency 4, and then combine those to get efficiency 5. One thing with skill will have to come in, and a little bit of luck, is combining the books in such a way that we don't go over the XP limit on the tools. But I find, especially early and mid-game, more often than not, we're not going to be using efficiency 3 books to get those enchantments. More often than not, what I think is going to happen is we're going to come over to our enchanting table, we're going to grab a bunch of lapis and a tool, and we're going to enchant level 30 enchants until we get what we want. And if we don't want the enchant, we're going to disenchant it, and we're going to do it again. And if we run out of XP, we'll go over to our Enderman farm, get the XP we need, and do it all again. So effectively, it does not fix the problem of randomness, because we're going to use the random number generator to recycle enchantments until we get the one that we want. Especially early game and mid game, before we build up the trading halls. It really, to me, incentivizes the randomness. And it's a randomness that's going to be more time consuming because we're going to have to do it a lot, rather than, doing the process once, setting up a trading hall, and then never having to worry about that aspect of the game again. So speaking about incentivizing, let's talk about the number one OP farm that I have not mentioned yet, and that everyone who complains about villager trading complains about this farm as well. This is a raid farm. This is late game, and even mid game, you would argue, is the best way to get emeralds. Now, the amount of effort that I put into this farm was maybe a few hours. That's including getting a villager down there in a 1-block space. And the amount of rewards that I get for it, I admit, is rather OP. I can get redstone, some glowstone, and obviously emeralds. And, the main farm that this is good for is emeralds. This is how we get lots of emeralds really quickly. And it's OP. So does the new trading get rid of raid farms? No, not at all. In my opinion, it incentivizes raid farms even more, because now to get like efficiency 5, we have to buy 4 efficiency 3 books at a higher price because we can only cure them once, which means we need more emeralds. So to get more emeralds, we build raid farms to get emeralds. So with all that said, what has the new changes actually done? Well, it's locked mending behind swamp villagers. So that means we have to basically move a couple of villagers to the swamp, build a villager breeder, breed them, get the mending villager, and, get a few of them if we want or whatever, but have a villager in the swamp. And then either we can move that villager to a centralized trading hall, or build its own trading hall in the swamp. It separated the trades, so now instead of having just one villager breeder at one location, we have to have 4 villager breeders at 4 locations. And then either build the trading halls in those locations or move them to a central trading area. So it basically just made it more effort to get the same thing and made the game harder. Which, okay, fair enough. The other thing it does is it takes away the higher end trades. So now, instead of getting them in the trading hall, we now get them in my argument is a more random way by recycling the enchanting table over and over again until we get what we want. And then combining those tools to make what we want. You know, that's that. So it definitely doesn't take away randomness from the whole equation and put it into a more skill base. What it does is it adds more complications, or more steps I should say, not complications, to get mid-level enchants like efficiency 3, unbreaking 2, and stuff like that. Other ways we could get them is by flying around the world and going to all the points of interest and hopefully randomly getting them out of the chest. Now, we've all in our worlds gone to every point of interest within like 10 to 20,000 blocks and looted them. And we know how random it is to actually get a good enchant out of any of those books or armor that we get. The best bet is going to the end and flying around the end and looting all the chests, and then at least we can get higher level enchants and diamond armor that way. So in conclusion, do I believe that villager trading needs an overhaul? I don't know. I think a lot of the complaining is people that complain for the sake of complaining, or like the people who refuse to update to 1.8 because of the PvP changes. Like, yeah, okay, you have a valid opinion, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But I think every change that Mojang comes out with and updates, people will complain about. Just like me complaining about this trading change. It is what it is. So, you know, I don't know if it's a problem or not. I enjoy it the way it is. But it seems like Mojang's going to make some changes anyways. So, will it make me stop playing the game or make me refuse to update the game? No. Probably not. Will it make me stock up on books before I update? That's a possibility. There's a very good possibility I might do that. But let's take a look at what are some things that is good about the changes, and maybe what Mojang could do to fix some of the problems. I don't have many options on that or opinions on that, but one, I think making it to where you can only cure villagers one time, so you can't get every single trade down to 1 emerald. I think that's fair. You know, do that. That's fine. There's not a problem with that whatsoever. It's just going to make us need more emeralds to get the things that we want. Separating the villagers to new locations with different trades, I think that's a cute idea. I like that idea. I think they can add lore and story to it, especially since the trades are now related to like their biomes and where they are and kind of the lore of their backstory, I guess, and what they do in those villages. So I think that's a very cool idea and very nifty. As far as like getting high level enchantments by only exploring or the randomness of the enchanting table, that one I don't like. I think if there is a way to lock the higher enchantments behind mid-game or later game and it could be fair and simple to implement and intuitive, then I say go for that. But making it to where in the late game we can't just easily get books for like the effort that we've put into building and breeding and curing and stuff, I don't think that's a good idea. Because either I'm going to spend more time randomly doing it, or more time combining books, or more time trying to go further and further out in my world to find points of interest that I haven't already looted early in the game. So how to fix that, I'm not sure. But I think if I put in a few days' work of effort to set up a trading hall, to be able to have a stockpile of Protection 4 books, or Efficiency 5 books, or Mending books, I should be able to do that. Without having to combine Efficiency 3 books. You know what I'm saying? Because all that is I have to get to the same point in the game, but now there's just more steps once I've reached that point. It doesn't prevent necessarily the early game stuff, besides locking the mending behind the swamp villagers. I think one change that Mojang hasn't done yet that I think could work out rather well is get rid of stick trading. 100%. Have Fletcher's, hey buddy, how you doing? He likes the raft. But instead of trading sticks to Fletchers, why not have them trade for feathers or flint or, something else that's a little more expensive, maybe planks or logs or something. I'm not sure though how to fix that. But while you're figuring that out, maybe give fletching tables a little functionality. Maybe, I don't know. But other than that, I don't know. I think like the way they implemented the new enchantments, such as Swift Sneak being locked in the Warden, which you have to be pretty OP to go in there and take on an ancient city, which takes time and effort, and the payout is great with Swift Sneak and stuff. And I think Soul Speed having to barter with the piglins, which you can do how I did in a piglin bartering farm, or by just going into the nether, finding a piglin and throwing gold at them, I think is a unique way, and I think the reward matches the effort. I don't necessarily think the new trading matches the effort, if you know what I'm saying. I don't want Efficiency 3 books, I want Efficiency 5 books. So, yeah. To make the same amount of effort to get Efficiency 3 as I did to get Efficiency 5, and actually a little more effort to get the Efficiency 3, is not a good trade-off, and it's not a fair trade-off in my opinion. So, to me, it's almost this new change. How it stands now is making the game harder without adding any more value to it. So I think instead of making the game harder for the sake of being harder, we need to make the game more entertaining, or give us a bigger payoff for the effort that we put in. Now with that said, please don't nerf iron farms, and don't nerf bartering farms and gold farms, and don't nerf the farms that we have. Like, let's not make the game harder. But if you want us to use the enchanting table a little more, then give us an incentive to use the enchanting table a little more. Don't make what we like to use harder just for the sake of being harder. if you want us to explore more past the early game, then there needs to be a reason to explore more past the early game. Because the loot that we get is just very early game. We've seen all the structures, we've done all the stuff by the time that we've killed the dragon. So, late game, there's no reason to explore anymore. So with all that, I'll end by saying, Mojang, you're doing a good job. It's amazing. I paid for this game one time many years ago, and it keeps getting updated with endless content. Even with the changes, whether I like them or not, or even when they add new mobs like the Phantom, whether I like it or not, truth is I voted for the Phantom just like you did because we wanted a flying mob. But Mojang works their butts off to make this game as enjoyable as it possibly can, and they do a great job at reaching out to the community and asking us what our opinions are. So we can make videos like this or leave comments under their videos or go to their website and stuff and give our opinions. And what's amazing about them versus other game developers is they listen to us. They take all of our opinions into consideration and they try to make the game enjoyable for everyone with all the different play styles. Whether you play like I play or you play like other people play, more like insane OP farms than I make, or if you're just a casual player who likes to PvP or parkour or play mini games or never get to the point of fighting the dragon. You know, I have friends who have never fought the dragon. But all of those kind of playstyles in a game like this, Mojang has been doing a great job at trying to balance it and trying to make it to where we're all happy. So hats off to Mojang and thank you for this game. So if you agree with me or disagree, let me know down in the comments. I would like to hear how flawed my arguments are, or look at it a different way that I haven't looked at it before. And then we'll also hear some other ways that you think would fix some of the problems that I don't believe that these changes fix. But also like, subscribe, do all of that kind of stuff if you feel like it. And until next time, have fun!